Hi, this is Jeffrey Wood. Um, I've mentioned a couple of times before about backing up your database for your WordPress. So it stands to reason that when something happens, how exactly do you restore your database? You have an SQL file saved somewhere, assuming you made your backup, so what do you do? Well, I'm glad you asked. You may never have this problem. I've had it a couple of times for various reasons. Um, But at some point, you may get to where you're messing around with your blog and all of a sudden you lose your blog. And you can try a few things, but sometimes the only thing you can do is start all over. So what I've done is, here's my golf course yard blog, and I deleted the database. Now, I did it on purpose to make this video, because I have a backup. You do make backups, right? In any case, I refresh the screen. We should have nothing. No? It's not going to cooperate with me. Well, that's alright. I've deleted the database. So in fact, see if I try to log into it, it should give me nothing. Yeah. This is probably a cache. It's just not updating frequently. But I deleted it a few minutes ago. So what we do is you come into your host panel. In this case, it's HostGator. And you scroll on down here until you get to your databases. And you can come to the MySQL database wizard. And you create a database. Now this here is nothing for you to be concerned about. It adds it automatically, but you will need to know that. Something you should do is bring up Notepad or your favorite text editor. We need to create a name for the database. Now remember, something's happened, and we're going to import a backup, so we need a new database. And in this case, I'm going to call it Golf Course Yard. Not because I'm not imaginative, but for security purposes, you should name it something not obvious, because this isn't something that you are going to see or anyone else. This is your WordPress is going to interface with your database, and this is the name your WordPress needs. So once you get it into WordPress, you should never see it again. So you can make it as complicated as you want, which is one of the reasons to have Notepad. But I'm keeping it simple for now. So go to the next step. That creates the database. Now we need a user. You can use an existing user. I like to have a different user for each blog. Now, if you've seen my other videos where we install WordPress, we never do this because this part is done for you automatically. In this case, I want to call it Golf Yard Per. Okay, so it has a limit. Now, here's something that's important. Added the database, Jeff Wood _ golf course yard. So we're going to highlight that and copy it. That's the database name. Put a couple of returns there. You don't have to. I just do that because it's easier for me when I go to pick them. You pick a username, and we need a password. Password generator is usually the easiest. And copy, paste, and of course this will be changed by the time you see the video. I have copied this password to a safe place, use the password, and then create user. Ignore my RoboForm. Now, first thing it does is it brings you to this screen. Here again, in case you missed it before, there's your database name. Here's your username. You're going to need the whole thing, not with the extra space. So here, Notepad, username, password, database name. You have to assign the privileges for the user. Now, since this is for WordPress accessing the database, it needs all privileges. So you click on all privileges, and if you don't know what you're doing, please don't play around with this. Just click all privileges and go to next step. Now, the user was added to the database. You can add another database, you can add another user, or you can return home, which is what we're going to do. And it kicks me out automatically for some reason. I don't care. I don't need it. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated. Use an FTP program, or you can go in through your cPanel. I usually go in through this way. If you go in through your cPanel, through your host, you'll go into the file manager, and you're going to do exactly what I'm doing here. You're just going to use that interface. In this case, come up here, go into the golf course yard, and we go down here to the config, WP config PHP. I right click, view edit. I'm going to make that big for your sake. This is the section we're looking for. Actually, it starts a little up here. Here's the old database name, right here. The old username, and the password. So all we're going to do is come up here. Now you see it brought this up. Don't close that. We're going to take our database, copy, we're going to come right into here, and we're going to replace that. And we're going to do it again with the username. Make sure you don't have any extra spaces in there. So this apostrophe should be right next to that R. If you have something like that, that's okay, just delete it. And then, of course, the password. And again, very critical you don't have any spaces there. Paste, there we go. File, save. A file has previously opened has been changed. Finish editing and delete local file, which is what we want. We're going to close it here too. Now, just minimize that and that. Not going to disconnect anything. I'm just curious. Yeah, it's still giving me the cache. That's alright though. When you can't log in, you'll know you have a problem. So we go to wp-admin. There we are. Now you notice it's asking me about this. And that's because we did something a little wrong. Not really, but if you forget, we're restoring a database. Now, this is how you can install WordPress using the WordPress files themselves. Well, what do we do? Okay, not a big deal. We go back into our cPanel. We've already put the username, password, and stuff in, so we're good here. But the idea is to restore what we had. So we come back down here, we go into PHP My Admin. Come over here, we make sure, oops, we pick the right one, golf course yard, see, and we can change it down here. I'm just getting a little ahead of myself. Now we click on import, browse the computer, to wherever it is you have downloaded your backup. In this case, it's here under Downloads, and it's database backup. Now you notice it's still zipped, and that's okay. We click on Open. In fact, if you look, a compressed file's file name must end in format compression, for example, sql.zip. A file may be compressed or uncompressed. Might as well leave it compressed. There's no reason not to. I don't change anything here. Leave it as SQL. Leave the compatibility mode as none. Leave everything checked. Click on Go. Please be patient. Depending on other factors, this could take a while. Depends on how big your database was, how slow your internet connection is. If you have an aging, ancient laptop like I do, some days it could take much longer than others because it has overheating issues. Import has been successfully finished. This really allows you to do it again. Don't need to do it again. So, okay. So go here. Back to our admin. Oh, there it goes. Now look. We can log in and everything is back to the way we had it at the time of the last backup. So if I had done a bunch of stuff from the time I made this backup till now, all those changes are lost. That's why before you do anything major, like say updating WordPress to the next version, you should make a backup. If something happens, you can go back right to where you left off. Anyway, that's really all there is to it. At the most, at this point, you may have to do lost your password if you have a different password to log in, or you don't remember it, or whatever reason, but everything should be back. You'll want to go in and test things. I would say we could test the golf course yard, but since it didn't really give me an error message in the first place, you'll have to take my word on that. But that's all there is to it. It's really easy. If you go to the one screen, obviously you forgot to finish your importing. Otherwise, you go right back into your cPanel, you do the import. The most important thing is you cannot go into your host and directly import the database. You have to create a blank database to import into. Again, any questions, let me know. I hope this video is helpful, and more importantly, I hope that not only do you make your backups like you're supposed to, but that you never have to use them. Have a great day.